Morant, what he's doing right now, he is the MVP of late.
Believe in this brother. This brother is a superstar in the making. And that's not
Ja Morant, I'm saying this right now, he's going to be an MVP in this league.
Whoa.
He's going to be an MVP in this league, and he's going to be arguably the best player in the game.
Ja Morant has been one of the biggest surprises so far this season, from being just a young star to now one of the best players in the game today. And this happened quickly than fans would expect. And before I get into Ja specifically, shout out to the Memphis Grizzlies front office for building one of the best young cores in the NBA, having great players such as Dillon Brooks, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson, and etc. The Grizzlies as a whole shocked the league into being the third best team in the West, being led by Ja Morant. It's just surprising that they're this good this early when they're still a pretty young team. But getting into Ja's impressive breakout season, he's currently averaging 26 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists per game. But outside of the stats from the eye test, Ja Morant is probably one of the most entertaining players to watch due to his athletic ability and the way he just controls the game. For instance, Ja Morant is the third leading scorer in the paint behind two 7-footers in Giannis and Nikola Jokic, and this explains the dunks and the flashy layups an average fan may see when they search up the name Ja Morant. But what's impressive about this stat is Ja Morant is a 6'3" point guard, and the point guards throughout recent history who was once the scoring leaders in the interior was Russell Westbrook, Tony Parker, and Derrick Rose. So Ja Morant is already putting himself among elite company when you talk about interior scoring point guards. And speaking of Derrick Rose, Ja Morant this season has constantly been compared to a younger version of Rose when he was MVP, and rightfully so. Ja Morant is very similar to a prime Derrick Rose, with just being an athletic point guard that can blow past defenders with their quickness and having the ability to make tough finishes at the basket. But when you compare Ja Morant's numbers this season to Derrick Rose's numbers from his MVP season, you can actually make a case that Ja Morant is actually better, since he's averaging more points on better efficiency from the floor and from three. I believe Ja Morant should at least be in the MVP conversation, since he's averaging similar numbers to a Derrick Rose from when he won the award on a winning team, when Ja Morant's team is winning as well. And I'll be the first to admit that I was once one of those NBA fans who believed Ja was slightly overrated, but that all changed once they faced the Golden State Warriors last year in the play-in tournament. It was just impressive on how Ja Morant went head-to-head against Steph Curry, leading his team to victory, dropping 35 points, 6 assists, and 4 steals while making 5 3-pointers this game. What highlighted this game specifically is the fact Ja clutched up on a game that was worth something, because if the Grizzlies were to lose this game, they wouldn't have made the playoffs. And speaking of the playoffs last season, after Ja led the Grizzlies past the Warriors in the play-in tournament, the Grizzlies had to play a number 1 seeded Jazz team at the time who were top 3 on defense. And even though the Grizzlies lost that series, that didn't stop Ja from averaging 30 points per game while dishing off 8 assists. The game that stood out to many fans this series was Game 2, when Ja Morant had set a record for the most points scored in a playoff games for players who were 21 or younger with 47 points. And the players who previously set this record were LeBron James, Magic Johnson, Tracy McGrady, and Luka Doncic. So as you can see, Ja Morant again has put his name among elite company. And I feel like after this playoff series, that's when fans started to realize that Ja Morant had star potential. And just to go even further back in time, during the 2020 play-in tournament, the Grizzlies had to face the Blazers to advance to the playoffs. And even though the Grizzlies lost this game, a rookie Ja Morant dropped 35 points against a prime Damian Lillard. So he has shown he already can perform well in games that mean something. Many fans like myself, after witnessing these specific games along with the flashes of potential he showed from his previous seasons to now, isn't too surprising at the fact he's officially an all-star starter for the West. Part of the reason why Ja took a leap in his game this season is because of the improvements in his three-point shooting. His three-point shooting, as far as percentages and the volume, has gone up from his previous seasons. But when you watch him play, a lot of his threes are set shots, which shows he's definitely put in the time to improve his jump shot, and now defenders have no choice but to respect his shooting, since he was already an elite finisher at the rim. It would be nice if Ja developed a consistent pull-up 3 off the dribble, because that would make him more difficult to guard since he has everything else in his game. And even though we know Ja can dunk on a multitude of people like we've seen through the years, he also has a good floater within his game. It's like he uses it as a response when defense is guarding the interior to distance Ja from the rim when he can't get more of a closer layup. Even one of the best rim protectors in Rudy Gobert has trouble guarding this specific move, as you can see in this clip. Ja also has an insane skill with acrobatic layups on taller defenders, and you can see that he's not afraid to jump up with anybody, and the fact that he's only 6'3" is what makes him so special. And Ja overall finishing ability is legit. It's just the way he controls himself from going at high speeds to being able to slow it down with his craftiness, and his handle makes it seem like Ja is going to always find his way to the basket. But of course, when a multitude of defenders are clogging up the paint, Ja can read the defense and set his teammates up for good looks. And in general, Ja makes great passes with both his left and right hand. Advanced stats shows for point guards in the league today that Ja Morant has the second highest player efficiency rating behind Trae Young, which means Ja contributes a lot for the Memphis Grizzlies when he plays. Now, when I say Ja Morant has scary potential, I specifically mean like on defense. Ja Morant probably isn't even at his best yet so far in his career. Even though Ja is listed at 6'3", he still has the ability to do this.
Avery Bradley with the deflection against Bang! Oh, Morant!
And what's crazy about Ja is even though he has amazing hops, he also has a 6'7" wingspan, which means in a way he somewhat plays bigger than his actual size, which partially explains why he sometimes uses the length of his arms to do some incredible things such as rail blocks and to get many steals. But overall, he can work on his footwork, specifically when staying in front of his man or being able to get through screens on and off the ball. So right now, I'll say he's an average defender. But the thing is, Ja Morant is only 22 years old, and that's the scary thing about it, is because honestly, his potential could someday be a top 5 player in the NBA once he reaches his prime. But of course, only if he continues to get better and to have more success within the postseason, along with just having a longevity of being great. And let's just all pray that he doesn't have any severe injuries like Derrick Rose did. But getting into this season alone, the Grizzlies has been winning games, and they look like true title contenders as a whole. But being led by Ja has a strong argument for being this year's MVP. And for the ones who don't realize, Ja Morant at this moment is having a better season than Steph Curry when you look at their stats individually. And he definitely has the team success. So if you ask me, Ja right now is probably a top 5 candidate for MVP. And if the Grizzlies was to have a good playoff run while Ja is playing like how he's playing now or even better, it would be an argument that Ja Morant could even be a top 10 player by the end of the season. And that's going to do it with this video. If you have your own opinions on Ja's potential, leave a comment down below. And if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.